BRB UK. Worse teeth, better accents.
Hello, and indeed, ahoy, hoy. Welcome to episode 562 of BRB UK. Strap in, hot cheeks. It's a Tuesday that we're recording on this week, and I'm very confused. No one is more confused than Tim because he does not exist this week. But instead we have, in actual voice and bodily form, rather than just communicating with us from beyond, using the medium of a Ouija soundboard, Coleman's back. Hello, Coleman.
Hi!
How are we doing?
Okay, I will throw my hands up. This one is my fault completely. I forgot
it is.
This week.
Terrible. You are a terrible man. You are a bad man.
The week we are recording, so every week, behind the curtains, every week we record on a Thursday. It goes out on a Friday, unless there's some kind of technical hiccup, and it goes out a couple of days late or whatever.
That never
which
happens.
is very rare, in fairness. Sometimes we change things around because holidays or prior engagements or whatever. I completely forgot this Thursday, the day we record, is the start of EGX, which goes on Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, which I'll be at for 4 days. So I will neither be available to record, nor will I be available to edit and put out the show, which sometimes can take me up till 2 a.m, because I want to go have some fun and play games and catch up with friends and stuff.
Aren't you a lucky scamp?
Yeah, so last minute, I did suggest yesterday, I went, hey, can we do a short show? We'll do one of those Great British debates or something. And unfortunately, Tim couldn't do any of them. So I said, okay, Dan's kindly volunteered to move forward and go, right, Tuesday.
Hello.
Which is Tabletop Tuesday. We'll record now. I'm not sure if this is going out next day or if this go out on Thursday or what we're going to do, but this will come out at some point. You might get it earlier. If you are, well done you. And yeah, it's all kind of gone up in the air. We haven't really played much. Dan, you've been continuing with Forza.
Vroom, vroom.
We do have lots of news to talk about that's all kind of
do.
fallen into our lap at the last minute, which is great. So yeah, we should have a shorter show, but still the regular same old entertainment that is available to
Indeed.
you on BRB
It
UK.
flopped into my lap like a needy lover, is what it did.
And then we'll go... I won't say we'll go back to normal next week because next week will be EGX talk. So I'm sure Tim will have a million things to talk about, and I'll have a summary of a very small curated list of games that I played.
There is a chance I might not actually be here next week as well. So.
Yeah, all right. Yeah, that's fair enough.
My plan has worked. No, I have a sneaking suspicion, because it's my birthday next Friday. Happy birthday, me.
Happy birthday,
that my
Dan.
missus might be taking me out on Thursday to see some comedy. So,
ooh, who are you going to go see?
Fun fact, if you're in Reading, come say hello. I don't know, it's a surprise. She just said, yeah, you're about on Thursday because there's some comedy in Reading. I was like, yeah, I could be about some Thursday comedy in Reading. So, yeah.
I just did some comedy. Just before I got sick, I saw Auntie Donna at the Apollo, Hammersmith Apollo.
Oh,
which
nice.
was great. I love that. Love that venue. I love that comedy troupe, and it was a lot of fun. And I think it was the last UK gig before they've gone to do the US tour as well. So that was a very enjoyable night.
I'm very glad to hear that, sir. That makes me a happy bunny.
Right. Shall we talk about some video games? Because you've been playing Forza Motorsport, which I was listening on the show from behind the scenes.
Well,
then again and again as I edit, yes.
Good.
You've already done your introduction. You've gone through a fair bit of all the new features and stuff, but an extra week into this, and now we've got to the full launch of the game.
Yarp.
How are you finding it?
I think some of the initial shininess has worn off a bit. I don't know. I don't know whether or not I was just slightly spoiled by the over-the-top Mexican-ness of Forza Horizon, but it is feeling a little bit sterile, to be honest with you. It might pick up. It might be the fact that there's kind of in the VIP posh seats season, which I was playing. It may well be that just the install base wasn't there enough. I think kind of the driver tar list was populated with randoms. There was only about 300 people on the Rivals leaderboard when I did it. And matchmaking was a little bit of a challenge in terms of you either... Because I kind of was trying to get to a point where I could try and match myself up with people who don't treat it like a game of bumper cars. but kind of there's not enough of a sample, as it were, to guarantee a full lobby of people who aren't absolute chuffing bell ends. So,
Aye.
so it may well get better. Perhaps. I mean, I've kind of mainlined it a bit. I think one of the things that does feel does drag a little bit in kind of the single player career mode is that they try and make it a bit more like a race weekend. Right. So there is actually, although you can skip it, but you miss out on that sweet, sweet car XP because everyone knows cars need experience. That's what the mileometer tells you, how much experience your car has. There is like...
It's what Mr. Ford would have wanted.
It's what he would have wanted. The kind of that forced kind of weekend structure and the fact that the AI kind of vacillates between either being really good and impossible to beat or far too easy and you'll just overtake them all by the end of turn one. I don't know whether or not it's because the AI and the driver tires are kind of probably driven by some kind of AI learning algorithm and whether or not the kind of the sample size, all the data going into it just isn't enough yet. But it's something it just doesn't quite feel there yet. And there's a couple of weird visual bugs I've noticed as well. It's crashed a couple of times on PC. But it's still a great racing game. It's just perhaps I think I'm kind of getting used to it again. The one thing that I am looking forward to, though, is kind of the rolling content of cars and tracks and kind of the weekly events they have that kind of have exclusive unlocks with them that anyone can do. So I'm quite looking forward to that. That should hopefully, give it a little bit of variety. But it's still a corking game. It still looks great. Makes my PC run as hot as the inside of the sun. So I'm tending to play it on Xbox because I don't actually want to recreate the feeling of being in a super hot and toasty race car. Quite like sitting in my gym jams, being with the breeze fluttering about my nether regions rather than feeling like I'm sweating my bits off.
So I do have a question specifically regarding driver tires, because that is one of my favourite features of Forza, the idea of...
Rubbish name, great idea.
Yes, the idea of it's AI opponents that are created by your friends or people that you've raced against, style of driving, and it's made a log of that, and then you'll have an AI that drives in that style. They've been doing it for a while, since the Xbox One launch, I believe, and they've been pretty cool. And yes, and that's why I always try to find as many Xbox friends through listeners and what have you, because I like the names popping up there. Or from rival podcasts, especially. That's a good one. When on one side you've got like a member of Giant Bomb, and then IGN, and then RKG, and like all that kind of stuff. It's that stuff works out really well. But because you've mentioned this before in the past with a few different Forza games, if you've got a friend who drives like an absolute maniac, that means all of a sudden, rather than having a generic driver that you're up against, you've got someone suddenly playing dodgems, or every corner is a chance to like slam into a barricade, and that's how they turn. That kind of stuff. So when you say you're driving against random driver tars, is because they've done this in a new engine, and they've said they've had to redo all the physics and all this kind of stuff for the new game, and redo all the tracks and what have you. Does that mean the driver tars have changed? Are we starting afresh, or are they still pulled from previous games?
They haven't specifically said. I wouldn't be surprised if they're starting fresh, and whether or not it's I'd imagine what's under the proverbial hood is some kind of some kind of AI model is essentially what it's doing for each track, and it's being trained on the kind of live race data that as people drive around and play the game, it ingests that data and continues to make slightly better AI. I'd imagine that's what they're doing. They would have had to start from scratch. And again, it might just be that they haven't had enough of a sample size really to update the algorithm as yet. I doubt they're doing it on the fly. It'll probably be like periodic releases that they update the AI. But you're right, there is something. I mean, there's only a handful of people from my friends list or names that I recognise. Sam Ronin, very gentle driver, likes to stroke it along the inside, it turns out.
Wow.
I know. But I'm looking forward to Coleman romping up, just absolutely sending it without any brakes.
I do need to jump back in. The only thing, because so yeah, you can't really behind the scenes. I've moved a little while ago, but I record out of my bedroom now, so I play games out of my bedroom and everything. But there is a gigantic TV at the foot of my bed, and I've been switching all the PlayStation and Xbox everything to there because it's kind of nice laying down and playing games and being relaxing. Driving games specifically, though, I like to be at my desk and close to the monitor and like, because I don't know if you do this. If you're taking a particularly tight corner, I like to.
Oh yeah, I lean, and if you got a swivelly chair, I will kind of find myself doing this.
Yeah,
that's what I'll do. I can't afford a posh sim rig, so that's how I get my jollies. It's like it really is like a pauper's sim rig. It's fantastic.
That problem as well. Sometimes I do doze off when I'm lying down lying on my back playing video games. So I need to be sat up because I know what's going to happen. I'll be driving along in Forza, and then all of a sudden I'll wake up just like face into an alley, as if I actually was driving in real life.
Yeah, don't fall asleep behind the wheel there either, mate. It's not good for you. It's all good.
But
yeah, no, I mean, I have. I'm not sure if there's a share code for it or whether or not you need to just look me up on Forza. Captain Average is my game tag, and if you look me up on Forza, you should be able to find the BRB logo, lovingly recreated in Forza form. Which
do we still have the BRB clan?
There's no club in full fat Forza Motorsport, but there is in Forza Horizon 5. There is that,
Gotcha.
But it's called BERB because BERB because someone has nicked BRB. Unsurprisingly.
Right. That's fair. I remember. So. Yeah, I remember that coming up before. All right. Yeah, I'm never sure. I always jump into Forza Horizon. I think I've only done like 2 Forza Motorsports before. So, but I will give it a try because I recently signed back up to Game Pass for. What did I do it for? It was for Starfield, and then I'm not getting my money's worth with Starfield because I just fell off it so quick.
Yeah.
But then I jump back into Cyberpunk, and everything is happy with the world.
Oh,
is right. I love that game.
Yeah,
so
I need to really. I kind of bounced off it a little hard when on its 1.0 release.
Yes,
but yeah, I'm definitely wanting to give it another shake, as it were. It does look.
The
fun.
good thing is because there's the 2.0 patch, which me and Tim have discussed in great length of the updates and improvements that have come along with that.
Doesn't sound like
also
Tim.
Yeah, I know. There's also the Phantom Liberty DLC update, which gives you an extra mission, which introduces Idris Elba as a new character, and also a new playable area called Dogtown, with a city within a city. And
like
that stuff's all cool.
But with pollution.
That stuff's all cool, but it is £25 extra to install that. However, they don't introduce that and if anyone's been playing Cyberpunk in the past, and they'll know what I'm talking about, there's a mission where you're trying to help the Voodoo Boys, and you have to go to this old mall and try clear it out. It's a fair whack
Darth
into
Mall.
the game before shopping mall, like a shopping center.
Okay, not like some kind
America.
of OAP version of Darth Maul sitting there.
No, definitely not.
No.
But that mission itself is a fair whack into the game before you get to it. So you can install 2.0, play it for a fair while, and decide if you really want to double down on that mission before you drop the money down. But yeah, it's really good. I'm still playing it. I still like the 2.0 improvements. I have gone back to doing loads of side missions because I've got to one of those points where it goes, hey, you probably want to clear all the side missions because you'll be doing the story mission for a while and you won't come back to finish anything. So do all the things you want to do now. So I'm just leveling up my character as much as I can before I go in and really enjoying it. However,
nice.
They have had to release a 2.1 patch because
damn you, March of Progress.
The more I've been playing, I did say that a lot of the bugs and stuff had gone, and a couple of bugs started rearing their ugly head. Specifically, one I hadn't seen since the PS4, which is random texture flashing. So I'll be driving. So sometimes I'll be driving along, and all of a sudden I'll look at a window and just see that it's flickering. Sometimes I'll be driving along, and I'll see about 40 different textures around me all flashing at the same time. And if it's the road, that's a big problem when you're trying to drive a motorcycle in first person. So I have to sort of stop, reboot the reboot the PS4 and come back into it, and it fixes it. It's been rare, but it has happened. But they've installed a 2.1 patch, and that, fingers crossed, that seems to have fixed the issue thus far. I do have a new issue, which I have to look into because it might be a power supply
You're
issue.
just so needy, Coleman. God damn it.
But it's not to do with the game. My PS4 has randomly just started turning itself off, like fully powering down while I'm playing. Sorry, PS4. PS5 has happened
It's almost like they're about to release a new model of hardware. I wonder if that's to do with it.
No, I don't think that's to do with
No,
it. I've looked around. It seems to be it could be an issue with the surge protector I've got the PlayStation plugged into. It might be that I've got I use that feature that turns on your TV when you switch on the PlayStation.
Oh, the HDMI CEC thing.
Yeah, which I never used to use before. I only started using it because rather than use a monitor, I'm using a smart TV now. So I started using these features. It could be that I've been using that, so I switched that off. It might be that I just need to blow the dust out of the console. But I have checked, and it doesn't seem like it's overheated or anything. But I'll have to take it apart, clean it, put it back together, turn off the functions and everything, make sure that everything's plugged in correctly, and then go back to it. But that was quite scary, because when you do that and you've got a USB storage and you've got a second M2 storage, it does the, hey, your console's been switched off, checking your hard drive. Now your USB might be corrupt. Hold on, checking your USB. Now your M2 slot might be checking your M. Like, it does the whole thing, and it's terrifying. It's like, no, please don't lose everything. Please don't lose everything. Okay, we're all right.
Are you PS Plus member though?
Just the basic.
But you still get cloud saves.
Oh yeah, yeah. I have my cloud saves. It's just that the amount of stuff that is on there, it will take ages to install everything. Because even if you do have super fast internet, PlayStation, they do limit your downloads.
This is true.
I think
actually. This is true. It, yes, can be dog slow sometimes. Right.
Yes, let's move on, because like I'd said to Tim, Cyberpunk is dangerously close to becoming my Destiny, where I'm just going to talk about it all the time.
Well, to be fair, I haven't really touched Destiny much recently.
And then at random shows, listeners are going to come up to you and go, hey, can you tell Coleman not to talk about Cyberpunk so much?
Or, can you tell Tim not to talk about menus so much all of the time?
No one ever complains about that.
They know there's no point. They know there's no point.
It's probably because Tim's there, talking their ear off.
They go, make it stop.
By the way, if you're going to EGX, I'm there. The man called Rick is there. Tim will be floating around somewhere. I believe Diarmed's going as well. But there'll be some BRB people around. Yeah. Hit us up on the socials, and we'll see if we can do a meetup if you fancy meeting up.
There we go.
About a couple of requests already. Tim, what have you been playing? Oh, he's not here.
He's not here. No, but you've got games you're not ready to talk. You don't feel ready to share, and that's okay, Coleman. You do you.
That's fine. Need more time. More time is needed.
More time. Okay, we'll
but we can do news.
Well, why don't we do news?
Something dropped in our lap just before we started recording, and that is the news from Sony that there is a new model of the PlayStation 5 that is coming out this holiday season. That's Christmas for us in the UK. Where there is going to be a slimmer... that is a slimmer version of the PlayStation 5.
What's wrong with my body-confident PS5? Huh?
Well, wait, there's more. Wait, there's more.
Right.
So there's going to be a new digital and a new disk drive version of the PS5. Okay. It is going to have a terabyte of storage, and it's going to be 30% smaller in size than the 30% smaller.
That's terrifyingly small.
And the weight will be reduced if you've got a the disc version, 18%, and also if you've got the discless version, 24%. So a lighter, slimmer PlayStation 5 will be available this Christmas season for £479.99. But wait! There's more. If you are a PlayStation 5 digital user, which I'll admit, because I got one of those, and then I got a disc version later. But my intention was to have two digital, and they sold out of digital, so I got a disc version instead. The benefits of having a disc version is obviously you can play discs. I at the time was going yes, thank you, Dan. I, at the time, was going through more digital games than I was physical games. However, the savings, especially when a lot of games retail for £70 now, Yes. If you look on the likes of Shop2, Amazon, GameCollection.com, any of those places, you can get quite significant savings on physical games. So if you feel like you've been missing out, there will be a separate optical drive that you can buy for, where is the price? I've lost it.
You can slap it on for £99.99.
Yeah, so extra £100.
So it's actually
you can
only
stick on an
10
optical
quid
drive.
cheaper to buy all in one go up front. If you're not sure you're going to be playing physical games, you can hang on. I really like the fact that they've made that modular. I think that's such a really awesome idea. I am assuming that, I mean, I've kind of, this literally is freshly crimped out of the internet as we started recording. I am assuming, it doesn't mention it, but I am assuming that there is still the ability to add storage, because they don't explicitly mention an M2 slot.
They do show. So I've
Is
just
there a
put,
video?
I think there might be somewhere, but looking on the blog, the image that I've used, it just shows the two new consoles, but they do show like taking the faceplate off and stuff like you do previously. So it does look like there is an M2 slot for you to add extra storage onto there, as you can do with the previous version.
Well, I'm hoping.
But the idea
I'm
now,
clicking on the zoomy in one, where you whack the old what's name up the Ujima flip disk drive installation, to those who are less technically minded. I cannot see. It looks like there's a weird little kind of kickstand if you want it horizontally, because you can, of course, you can give them more money to buy a stand. But if you want to lay it horizontal, it looks like there's a little plastic kickstand you can flip down from the front as well, which is kind of cute.
I mean, I think the reason for that is because the previous versions came with the stand that you could use two ways, but it is a rubbish stand. Unless you're using it vertical, then the stand's fine. If you're using it vertical, then horizontal, it pings off. It doesn't sit very well on there. And every time you try move something at the back of the console, plug something in, take something out, it will just fall off the stand quite a lot. There's no way of securing it on there. Whereas if you do it vertically, you can screw it into the base so it stays still. So the idea is there's a new improved stand that comes with the new consoles for a horizontal sitting. However, it's not a all-in-one stand. So if you want a vertical stand, you have to buy that separately. That's going to be $24.99.
Okay.
Yeah, mine sits horizontal, even though it always falls off the stand because I'm forever fiddling around with stuff on my desk. Because
I'm a long boy with my vertical standage.
I liked the vertical, but yeah, it sits better on my desk if I hide it away and it doesn't overheat there. So
long boy. Oh
yeah, what do you think of the look?
Yeah. I like it. I think that the digital one looks really nice. I think it is like literally they've taken. I mean, there's less of the kind of Doctor Strange, Harry Hill collar going on at the top. Harry Hill is also a doctor and also a bit strange. There we go. So Doctor Strange and Doctor Strange. They see the faceplate seem to be split in two as well. I think that's because the top stays on and the bottom removes. Yeah. So I mean,
like the PS4 original.
I mean, I kind of like the look of it, to be honest with you. I think it's a much cleaner aesthetic. It doesn't look as chonky. I think, again, the slim version looks a lot nicer, and I think it will take up a lot less real estate on a desk. I mean, obviously, we don't physically have a PS5 Slim, but we do have a list of dimensions, and I have a ruler. So I have put measurements next to my PS5. Can confirm it will take up approximately shed loads less desk space. So if you're a bit tight on desk space and are thinking of an excuse to side grade, then this may be it. I doubt there's going to be any real killer features, to be honest with you. If you've got a perfectly functioning PS5, just stick with your PS5. But yeah, I mean, I think it's good. I like the move of it. I mean, I'm hoping. I mean, again, the one thing they didn't declare here is that it might be a little more power efficient as well. I think we're all still watching builds and stuff like that.
There is a list of technical specs up online. I just didn't include them because
I'm having a flick. I'm having a flick.
I'm going specifically on the look of the console, which I will admit, like I am the PS5 apologist. I like the look of the PS5. I know it's massive.
It's all right. It's okay to be wrong. It's fine.
But I actually do like the design. And I like the design of the Slim. I don't like because it's now a split case on the front and back. There's now that big black bar going through it. I liked the aesthetic of just like the one solid white console bit with the black bar in the middle, rather than the big cuts in it. And also the black bar that goes through the middle now, instead of being flat at the top, it's concave. That dips into the console, which I don't know why that unnerves me, but it does. But other than that, yeah, fine. If it's smaller, that's
a
better.
Weird man.
I don't,
you're a strange boy.
Some people are scared of buttons, Dan. I just don't like the look of that one dip in the console.
I'm not judging.
But I agree with you.
It's a bit weird.
Once again, the digital unit looks a lot better because this is the same problem with the PlayStation 5 original. It's that the optical drive kind of just chucked on the bottom like some weird tumor growth coming out of the bottom of the console. It's so odd because it looks like they designed a console and went, right, we are ready for the all digital. What, people are still buying physical? We have to buy physical. Physical, right? Okay.
Damn it!
All right, two models. Slap an optical drive on there. Make it look like and it does not look like it belongs.
I mean, even like the original, like if you kind of watch the teardown videos of the original PS5, it's quite obvious that that the optical drive was an utter afterthought. It's like, oh man, we should just slap this on there, which is why you can kind of convert a digital to a not even the old PS5. I think you could by and large just whack. You know, if you're willing to get your hands a bit dirty with some light electronic tomfoolery, you could probably make a disc drive work on it. But yeah, I think it's good. It's the very unsurprising midlife crisis refresh that many a console generation has. So
yes, and this isn't like a Pro. This is like small amounts of changes, but it's mainly about the physical change of the console, so just smaller, because that's one of the big complaints of the console is it's too big.
It's a chunky boy.
Darn big.
It's a chunky fella. It's a chunkmeister. Yeah, I mean, I think so it sounds like it's likely to launch around November time. The existing stocks of the PS5, once they're gone, they're gone. So if you really want a PS5 fat, now's your time, because the slimmer unit.
This will be replacing.
It will replace it. So there we go.
Yes.
There's your lot.
All right, moving on, and a bit of a dark one. So there was a video that came out this week from the former developers of the Lord of the Rings Gollum, which was Daedalic Entertainment put that game out. And after the game came out, there was a lot of backlash. The game was quite rough, quite broken, was kind of touted as being and promoted as being such more of a AA close to AAA type title. Did not perform like that. Got poor reviews across the board. There was a apology statement that was put out with spelling mistakes in it. It wasn't a good look at
Lord
all.
of Ring and Gollum.
Yes, and there were redundancies made after the game came out as well, which 32 of those people have got together and banded together and put out some statements. But there's a video going into the depths of a 40-minute video that's going more into depth of the problems at Daedalic Entertainment, and there are quite a lot of allegations levied against them. But one of the things that they put out was they let us know that the budget of the game was 15 million euros, which is way lower than what is expected of a game under that license for next generation console, well, current generation now, but at the time, next generation consoles. There was also a bunch of cuts that were made to the game because they were rushing to get it out. There were the game was kind of held together with spit and duct tape, trying to force things to work before the game came out. And also the publisher, Nacon, they used an AI tool, ChatGPT, which you may have heard of, to write the apology statement that was put out to Twitter, which, again, was not put out with the developer's knowledge. So, Yeah, there's been a few of those things going on, but the more kind of damning allegations made against the studio is that they were trying to pay their staff below minimum wage, which is not cool. A toxic work environment, which has been cultivated by an alleged abusive leadership, and just forced overtime and crunch and all the stuff that you usually hear about when it comes to allegations against any video game studio. But it's not a good look for Daedalic Entertainment.
No, absolutely not. No words, really, to defend such behavior. I mean, there just isn't. And I think, there's so much of this in the entertainment industry that really things have just got to change. And treat your staff like people. Don't treat them like, essentially assets that you bring in to deliver something to allow you to make more money. I mean, it's just disgusting the way some of these people are being treated, and it's not on. I can't really think of anything more to say about it. There's no way to make no way to make light, no way to understand why the hell Daedalic would behave like this. And I just hope the people who find themselves having to look for pastures new in this situation, hopefully in the long run, it might be better for their physical and mental health, I hope.
Yeah, and it's good that they've come public with these. It
takes a lot of bravery to do that.
It does, because you can find, if you're not careful, I think it's lessened these days because of just the sheer amount of just kind of bad press that comes out against all these different studios and publishers. But you're at the risk of, a lot of people have come out years and years later to say, oh, it was hellish working at this place, or terrible working on this title, forced overtime and all that crunch and all that kind of stuff. And you hear about it a lot later because that person might be higher up in the industry or done with the industry altogether, because you're worried about being blackballed from the industry completely. And it's a terrifying concept. But to put it in perspective, because we've had to cut the news a few times over the last few shows, and there have been a lot of layoffs lately. We were talking about Team 7. Well, they were meant to be talking about Team 17 last week. Telltale Games, that's just been announced that there have been layoffs over it there, which was confirmed, but they haven't confirmed how many layoffs there were. And also, more recently, there was mass layoffs over at CD Projekt, which, again, to bring Cyberpunk into this, Cyberpunk, Witcher, but also kind of interesting developments before the announcement of the layoffs, because they have built a second studio and made some changes to how they're making the games as well, because they're taking they've formed a new studio over in the US in Boston. For those who don't know, CD Projekt is based in Poland, in Warsaw. And they've now formed this new Boston studio. They're now not using the Red Engine. They're moving over to Unreal Engine 5 to make the next Cyberpunk and Witcher games. So there's all these changes. And then there was reportedly around 100 people let go in the Polish studios. So they're making changes. So are they're trying to focus away from Poland and move to another country? Because that's kind of what it looks like. And on the back of that, there has now been a new game union formed over in Poland called the Polish Game Dev Workers Union that's followed this. So we're seeing big industry changes happening, but we are seeing a lot of layoffs, and from a lot of reports as well, we're not hearing about all the layoffs because there is a lot of it that's kept very, very quiet recently. But yeah, it's weird, it's weird, especially when you kind of combine the movie industry with all the strikes and things that have been happening, and that's had an impact on that industry, and that was moving over to video games. However, it seems like the strikes have now finally getting a resolution. But while that's all going on one side, it's like, yeah, all these people are losing their jobs, and we're not hearing about all of them along the way. It's been a very odd time.
Well, absolutely, and it's, I think it in an industry that is as large as the games industry is now. I think unionization is absolutely key to make sure that the small group of individuals running these companies, who are there to, essentially turn a profit. I think it's important that they're held to account. And I think it's great. It's a shame that, I think everyone can agree, it's a shame that we live in a world where you need unions to really kind of go, right, no, enough is enough, and we're going to stop doing things until you can be decent human beings, employers. It's a shame we live in a world where action like that is necessary, but I think it's great that they are organizing and that they are banding people together, because you're right, one or two people being brave enough to talk about the experiences they've had and risk being blackballed, they wouldn't have to do that if there was a decent unionization for the industry. So, I think it's a shame it's come to this, but I think it's great that the people in the workforce of game studios feel, getting to the point where they are sufficiently empowered to take such action. So, good for them for doing so.
And just on a personal note, for those in Poland that have formed the Polish Game Dev Workers Union because of the layoffs at CD Projekt, bardzo dobrze.
Yes!
Very good.
All right. I believe that's Polish for well done or good on you.
Oh, is it?
Might be.
Very good.
Very good.
Okay,
My knowledge of Polish language is appalling, so I'm not going to say anything.
Dan, let's wrap up with the news and move swiftly on to talking about your face.
My face. By my face. My face. My face is on things.
Not your actual face.
No. Well, no. A likeness of my face, a slightly younger cherubic version of me, is present on much merch that you can get at tpublic.com/stores/BRB.
Is it cherubic?
Cherubic. Cherubic. I don't know. Young me on a T-shirt, which could be on your face.
Rosy, slightly chubbier cheeks. Cherubic,
yeah.
like a cherub.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
A hairline that isn't making a beeline for the other side of my head. All of those things. You could have like that forever young version of me slapped across a T-shirt, so you too can go, I've got Dan's face. If you want to be part of the I Have Dan's Face Club, tpublic.com/stores/BRB. Go there. Do things.
Yes. And also over on tpublic.com/stores/BRB, we don't just have things with Dan's face on there, but we have this excellent T-shirt design of a kaiju tabletop fight, which is to celebrate all that goes on at Tabletop Tuesday, which is each and every Tuesday over at the Loading Bar in Stoke, Newington.
Yarp.
Now, what is going to be available on the 17th of October? Is it 17th? Yeah, sorry, 17th of October over at Tabletop Tuesday. We don't know because Tim didn't tell us.
Nope.
But what tends to happen, not all the time, but most of the time, we have a featured game over at Tabletop Tuesday. Tim will bring it along with him. And there will be a copy for the bar, so you will go and play that copy. You can play whatever you want, really. But if you play the featured game, they'll take your name and put it in a raffle draw. And then at the end of the night, a random person will be picked out from that raffle draw. And if your name is picked, you can take a brand new copy of that game home with you, which is brilliant because I don't know if you know this, Dan. When I started getting into tabletop games a little while ago, when I was a younger Coleman with hair,
expensive
I
hobby.
remember. I remember playing board games as a child and thinking, how much could board games be? And then when you pick up the BioShock Infinite tabletop game and it's £90, bloody hell, these things are expensive. So, yeah, it's quite a decent prize usually that you can be picking up at Tabletop. I mean, they're all decent prizes, but yeah. And you get to go see our good friend Tim. You can go touch him, lick his face, touch his butt.
He loves it when people lick his face.
He loves all those things. So if you could do that, then that would be great.
He also likes it. He also likes it if you cuddle up to him, take him in the nook of your little arm, and just whisper in his ear, "Tell me more about the menus, Tim." He loves it.
If you see him at Tabletop Tuesday or EGX, actually, if you could just take two hands, put them on his shoulders, look him dead in the eyes, and say, "Tim, Coleman, and Dan told me to do this," and then kiss him on the tip of the nose. He'd love that.
He would do. He would do. Please do that.
Tabletop Tuesday. That is going to be at Stoke Newington and at the Loading Bar on the 17th of October. Be there and go play games in the evening. It's going to be a great old time. It always is. I live closer to there now. I should go to some Tabletop Tuesdays again. Anywho, If you have enjoyed this, Joe, if you have enjoyed this show, then you have weird taste. But we are forever thankful, and we'd love it if you could give us a review on whatever the podcast platform you are listening to us on. They usually have a review section for you to review us. Could be available in the app that you're listening to on your very mobile device in your hand.
Ooh.
But also, we like when people get involved in the show, and they do that by going over to bigredbarrel.com. Over there, they can leave us notes in the comments. They can go to our Discord, which there is a link to on the website as well. We have a Facebook, an X, and a Threads. They are all at Big Red Barrel. And we have a YouTube, which is Big Red Barrel TV. So, some people... Oh, and also, links to all those are available in the show notes of this here episode. But we have had people let us know they want us to ask some questions. They want us to get into a little bit of a conversation with each other,
right?
And know what is on our mind. And I have said ahead of time, it's just me and you, Dan. But I've asked for some questions, and some people have responded by saying, "I have a question."
Who has a question?
Pick one at random, Dan. We got
pick one at random. I like this one.
I just realised they're mostly Ed.
Yes,
we've been saving up Eds for a while.
Yes. Who between Coleman and Dan could beat Tim in a fight, and how? First of all, I don't know why this has to be mutually exclusive. I would like to think we would tag team it for a start. What I would do is, how would I beat him in a fight?
Can I alter the question slightly?
Yeah, go for it.
Triple threat rules. All against all. You, me, Tim.
No.
Who wins?
No. Why do we have to do that? Why can't we just be friends?
All right, it's me and you beating the crap out of Tim.
Excellent. I think how I would beat him is I would pluck his eyebrows out one by one and then go every time you're a special little soldier. And then just repeat that until he's completely devoid of eyebrows. And then he would collapse, a mere husk of a man, after the physical and psychological destruction I had laid on him. That's how I would do it.
I like to think, I mean, if it's early enough in the day and Tim's awake enough, I do think Tim could probably beat the hell out of me if he wanted to. He's got a dark streak here. He's got a look in that eye. He's done some stuff.
He's like a off little terrier, isn't he? Sometimes. The ankle bites would be dreadful.
As we previously established, he was a massive serial killer in the 70s that's never been caught. So
Stabby Tim, as we know.
Stabby Tim.
Tim.
I think if either of us were to have a chance, it would be you, because you do have two doctorates. You do have a medical degree. You know, you could do that. You know, the Mortal Kombat.
Knowledge.
Mortal Kombat, where they do the slowdown and the X-ray into where you're hitting them and like their bones break and stuff. Like you could pinboy his dodgy knees and his back.
That's I don't actually, having a medical degree does not give you the ability to see in X-ray vision, Coleman. I'm sorry.
Do you not have the ability to do like the 5-finger death punch? Where
I don't know. That was not part of the final exam, I'm afraid. It was.
I like to think your mind goes like the Robert Downey Jr. Sherlock Holmes, where he's in the bare knuckle boxing match, and it all slow. Right, I go hit him in the solar plexus, and then break his knee, and then as he goes down, punch him in the jaw, and then you enact it all out.
I mean, technically, if I wanted to use my knowledge for evil, I probably could. I have no real need to use those skills for evil, but you know, I could probably. I'm not gonna continue saying this because I like having a license to practice. Thank you very much.
That's fair.
Yes. But also, if I wanted to, I could use my powers for evil, not for good. But I have no intention of doing so. Thank you very much.
There was another one from It's Aired, which was kind of tacked it onto this one, but. He said, what's the most 7 out of 10 game you've completed this year? And that is easy for me. It will be Star Wars Jedi Survivor, because that was a game I was really looking forward to. And while impressive, unfortunately, the technical limitations of, well, I don't know if it's the console. I don't know if it's the engine. I don't know if it's just time to not give enough spit and polish. But they have since made that game perform a lot better but still, if you play that game in performance mode, so you've got the decent frame rate, it just looks blurry. It looks like an oil painting sometimes.
Wow.
Which is not how I want my super shiny games to be playing.
And the frame rate of someone painting said oil painting in real time.
I think 7 out of 10 is a decent score just because it's got an excellent story. It is still a fun game. However, the technical limitations really that's knocked it down a few pegs. So I'm not going to pretend it's a 10 out of 10 game that I've seen other outlets do when they fully knew how that game performed before it even came out.
So I'm gonna cheat a little bit. I haven't actually completed this yet, but I think it's well on its way to being a 7 out of 10 game, and that is Starfield.
I need to play it more. I just don't want to. I'm just not in the mood for Starfield. I don't know what has to put me in this mood, but I'm not in the mood for Starfield.
That's fair enough. You do you, mate. You do you. So there we go. I think we've done 2 of Ed's questions, so we should probably have demonstrated that, yes, we look at the questions, yes, we like the questions, yes, we like to answer questions. So
yes,
make
Ed
sure
gives us a lot of questions.
Ed needs to get out more, does Ed, I think, bless him. But make sure you come on.
He's traveling around the world.
Yeah, but in a manner that doesn't involve penitentiaries, possibly. I don't know.
He's been following the Formula One, I believe.
Has he? Someone's doing all right.
Yeah, he's been in China. I think he's been at Tokyo Game Show. That man's been traveling.
So I really would like to think that whenever Ed goes to a new country, that he does the Street Fighter 2 announcer voice. That's what I really hope.
China, Japan, USSR.
USA.
No, maybe don't go there, mate.
No,
India.
So,
Brazil.
That's what I hope. And actually, listeners, if you do that, just, it'd be great if you could, because if I hear someone do that in a busy airport, I know I'm among my people, is how it works. So, there we go. Right, we are going to wrap this show up. So do all the things Coleman said. Click on the links in the show notes, and I can guarantee your life will be made at least a smidgen slightly better. But some combination of us will be back next week. There will be EGX to talk about for those who have been to EGX, and I'm sure have lots of new hotness to talk about. So, yes, make sure, tune in. That's next week, but this has been this week, and all that really is left to do is for me to remind you that I have been Dan.
I have been Chaos.
Yeah. Really?
Yeah.
All right, okay, fine. You've been Chaos.
I said Joe instead of show, so it's pretty chaotic.
Whoa, you crazy guy. When will it ever stop? When will the fun ever start? I ask myself.
Rocky.
Yeah, exactly. So, until next time, dear listeners, thank you for listening, and toodle bye.
Let's get ready to run.
Your ears are quite welcome
for the podcasting goodness that you just heard.
Why not roll on over
to BigRedBarrel.com
for more podcasts,
news, reviews, and videos from the biggest, reddest site on the internet, BigRedBarrel.com.
By the medium of soundboards, so
it's like a Ouija board, but
yeah, it's like a Ouija board, but infinitely more annoying.
Yeah,
I would argue.
Mainly because it's got
there it is.
Audio of us
see?
too.
See, when